Deep in the forests of Jilin province in northeast China, a quiet sense of peace flows through the trees. About 20 kilometers west of Panshi city, in a remote corner of the mountains, sits Hongshilazi, once the stronghold of a fierce and determined resistance. During the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression from 1931 to 1945, a group known as the Northeast Anti-Japanese United Army fought under incredibly harsh and dangerous conditions. And their very first guerrilla base was established right here at Hongshilazi. Today, the soil is bringing the long-buried stories back to life. For the last 5 years, the Jilin Provincial Institute of Cultural Relics and Archaeology has been working to uncover the secrets of this base. So far, more than 3,300 ruins and 900 artifacts have been unearthed. From secret camps and field hospitals to press offices, sentry posts, and clothing workshops, traces of the resistance are scattered across this 32 square kilometer region.
我叫孟庆旭，目前就职于吉林省文物考古研究所。
Leading this excavation effort is Meng Qingxu, who spent the past decade in the field of archaeology. He's a quiet man, but once you get him talking about his work, he can go on for hours.
红石喇子遗址呢，它是这个杨靖宇将军创建的早期的抗日游击根据地。
The Hongshilazi site was an early guerrilla base established by General Yang Jingyu to fight against the Japanese aggression. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, a surviving veteran of the Northeast Anti-Japanese United Army revisited the site and identified 3 key locations. Among them, Baijiagou was the main hub where Yang Jingyu and the Central County Committee operated. There was a command post, a hospital, and other facilities.
Yang Jingyu was a key figure and national hero during the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression, which began in 1931 with the September 18 incident. That night, Japanese troops stationed in northeast China staged an explosion on a railway near the city of Shenyang. They blamed it on Chinese forces, using it as a pretext to launch a sudden invasion and shelled nearby Chinese barracks. Under orders of non-resistance from the then-ruling Kuomintang government, Chinese troops withdrew without a fight. Within just few months, the Japanese military occupied the entire northeast of China. In response, the Communist Party of China formally declared resistance and quickly sent cadres to the northeast to mobilize local forces. In 1932, Yang Jingyu arrived in Panshi city and founded a guerrilla base at the mountains of Hongshilazi. Over the following years, additional guerrilla strongholds were set up across the northeastern region to withstand relentless Japanese offensives. In 1936, the Northeast Anti-Japanese United Army was officially formed. At its peak, it had 11 corps and over 30,000 fighters. In the brutal winters of the Northeast, they fought in the icy forests and snowfields, where temperatures dropped to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Many soldiers collapsed into the snow, never to rise again. Amidst these conditions, Yang Jingyu continued to lead from the front, marching through the mountains. In 1940, after all his comrades had fallen, he was left completely alone. Surrounded by Japanese troops, he refused to surrender. He was killed in battle at the age of 35. When the Japanese dissected his body, they found no food in his stomach, only tree bark, cotton fibers, and wild roots. He had gone 5 days without eating. Though many years have passed, their stories are still being told, and their spirit continues to inspire. In 2019, Hongshilazi was designated as a national-level cultural heritage protection site. Following this, the city of Panshi launched a major conservation initiative, aiming to preserve the site and pass on its legacy to future generations.
然后东北这面还是因为抗联，它主要的活动区域都是在山区嘛。
As the Northeast Anti-Japanese United Army operated mostly in remote mountain areas, and over the years, nature has taken back the land, so there's nothing left on the surface. Even though it's only been over 80 years, everything has been buried underground.
That's why excavation work was necessary to uncover what was buried underground. In 2021, Meng led a small team and broke ground on the site. They began at the very location identified decades earlier by a surviving veteran at what was believed to be the command center of General Yang Jingyu. At first, they focused on a 300 square meter area, but what they found was extraordinary.
然后当时经过考古发掘，就清理出来一批房址。
In the areas that the veteran had pointed out, we unearthed the foundations of 2 large buildings. Inside what was likely the command post, we found 2 writing brushes. Around the site, we also discovered weapons, ammunition, and household items. These findings offered new insights to our understanding of the guerrilla force.
According to Meng, before the excavation, what people knew about the troop came from written accounts and oral histories collected in the 1950s. It's said that the fighters lived in traditional dwellings known as majiazi, which were simple structures with low, saddleback roofs and earthen walls. In winter, they took refuge in semi-underground dugout shelters called 地印子, which offered better insulation against the extreme cold. But for the first time, Meng and his team had physical proof, real structural remains that showed what those shelters actually looked like.
正是由于它这个山区特点，它的这个
And the mountainous terrain has helped preserve the site remarkably well, the lead archaeologist says. Even after decades, the outlines of houses and storage pits remain clearly visible. And that initial dig opened the floodgates.
然后调查完了之后，发现
After the initial field investigation, we found the distribution of the troop remains extended far beyond the 3 locations previously identified. Starting from these spots, we combed through roughly 60 square kilometers of mountains terrain in a systematic sweep. By the end of 2022, we had documented over 2,600 ruins. Compared to what's recorded in historical documents, our findings were several orders of magnitude greater.
Based on previous veteran testimonies and historical records, the number of ruins at the Hongshalat site was only a dozen. So what explains the huge discrepancy? To verify their findings, Meng's team consulted historians and subject matter experts. They confirmed that the evidence unmistakably points to the Northeast Anti-Japanese United Army. The gap in historical documentation, they believe, stems from the sad truth that many of the veterans who truly understood the scale of the base never made it out alive. Over time, those accounts were lost to history until now.
根据我们又复查了各种材料。
After cross-checking with historical records, we learned General Yang Jingyu launched 2 expeditions westward after setting up the base. These expeditions involved several thousand fighters, which corresponds with the massive scale of the site we uncovered.
The unexpected discovery led to more systematic surveys. They mapped the entire Hongshalat site, confirming its distribution across approximately 32 square kilometers. Through their excavations, they also observed that the secret camps of the guerrilla force evolved significantly from their early to late stages.
就是最早的时候，抗联民营都是在这个大山深处的。
In the early phase, secret camps were hidden deep in remote mountains. Later, as the resistance force grew stronger, they gradually moved toward foothills, building larger structures, transitioning from underground to above ground, which were drier and more habitable.
但是这样的大型房址居住条件更好一点的民营，我们在发掘过程中发现，
However, we found some of these upgraded camps were never completed. Construction stopped halfway through, which also aligns with historical records. As General Yang Jingyu led his troops west on those campaigns, the base lost a lot of its fighters, and in the meantime, the Japanese tightened their watch.
The artifacts unearthed at the site tell a story of survival and resistance. From the remnants of battle, like bullet casings and shattered rifle parts, to the traces of daily life, such as iron pots, ceramic bowls, farming tools, and even a pair of medical tweezers. Among over 900 artifacts, for Meng, one discovery stood out: a Japanese artillery fuse.
上面是有这个文字的，就是有生产日期的，它是1940年生产。
On it was the production date. It was produced in 1940. According to historical records, this guerrilla base had been abandoned by 1936. Yet this fuse proves that the Japanese military was still shelling the mountains in or after 1940, meaning small-scale resistance forces must have remained active there. But there's zero documentation of these fighters. Without this rusted fuse, their struggle would have vanished from memory entirely. That realization shook me. In less than a century, we'd already forgotten such visceral history. It made me realize why my work matters.
所以说，我觉得从这一刻起，我的这份工作是有意义的。
Another artifact that he found interesting is a small bronze knife that dates back over 2,000 years.
但是这个青铜刀是出在这个抗联的这个房址里边。
We discovered this bronze knife inside remains of a shelter. What's remarkable is that the blade had clearly been resharpened and repurposed, suggesting that a guerrilla fighter likely found it in the mountains, ground it down, and reused it. So this single artifact carries dual historical significance. First as an ancient cultural relic, and second as a revolutionary object repurposed by the resistance. It creates a poignant link between ancient and modern history.
Meng notes that while many archaeological sites remain closed to visitors, their team has taken the opposite approach, actively opening the dig site to the public. Amid the lush forests, the Hongshalat site has now become a popular destination for those eager to learn about this chapter of history.
我们这个工地是做这个工地之初，就是要致力建设一个开放性的一个考古工地。
From the very beginning, we wanted to build an open excavation site. Visitors are welcome to observe our work on site. We've also built walkways and even adopted MR, mixed reality technology.
To bring the past to life, the team created an immersive visualization system that digitally reconstructs what the site once looked like. While most 3D virtual reality experiences are confined to indoor spaces, they've successfully adapted the technology for outdoor use. Visitors wearing MR glasses are able to see a blend of the present-day ruins and their reconstructed historical counterparts. Beyond the physical site, the team has also brought these discoveries to the public through a traveling exhibition, showcasing the artifacts and stories from Hongshalat.
当年做出来之后，我们直接就送到那个延安革命纪念馆。
The exhibition was first unveiled at the Yan'an Revolutionary Memorial Hall in Shanxi Province, where it received wide acclaim. Since then, it has toured across the country and is currently on display in Wuhan. Next, it's set to expand to Heilongjiang and the Sichuan provinces.
Over the years, working in the forests has become second nature for Meng and his team. He says they spend about 10 months a year living and working in the mountains, digging, brushing, recording, and preserving every fragment of the past. What began as a small team has now grown into a group of around 20. Each year, university students would join them for internships, learning field methods and immersing themselves in the history of the site. Local villagers have also played a part, lending a hand with basic excavation work. As the excavation gradually winds down, their focus is now shifting toward analysis, interpretation, and preservation.
东北地区嘛， 它是有一个非常
Meng points out that preserving an archaeological site in northeast China often faces a recurring challenge. Each year, the ground freezes solid in winter and thaws again in spring. This cycle of freezing and thawing can be especially damaging to the relics. To address this, Meng's team has partnered with a local university to collect scientific data that can guide their preservation strategy.
我们现在也正在持续的在这个遗迹里边放置这个传感器。
We are now installing sensors across the site to continuously monitor key environmental factors, particularly the temperature, humidity, and the pressure of the ruin surface. Effective, systematic conservation requires long-term data as a foundation. That's why we're currently engaged in a systematic data collection effort. We plan to gather at least 4 years' worth of data, covering all 4 seasons, to establish a solid scientific basis for future preservation work.
提供一个坚实的这样的一个基础。
Meng says their work won't end at Hongshelaz. In the near future, his team will follow the footsteps of the Northeast Anti-Japanese United Army across the province, continuing to uncover a buried history that can inspire the future. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for listening, and special thanks to Mengqing Xu. If you are interested in hearing more fascinating life stories, be sure to find us at radio.cgtn.com or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. Just key in footprints. You can find more stories anytime, anywhere. I'm Xingyu. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.